Have you ever noticed how the strongest characters are always the ones forced to carry the heaviest burdens? It is a classic trope, but Beyond the Gates is currently executing this concept with a level of psychological depth that is genuinely breathtaking. Let's talk about Naomi Hoffman. How much can one woman take before she absolutely shatters? For months, we have watched Naomi carry the suffocating weight of her BRCA positive diagnosis in total silence. She hid it from her husband Jacob to protect him during his dangerous undercover mission. She hid it from her family to avoid adding to their. But now, the universe has decided to test her limits even further. Her father, Bill Hamilton, has just survived multiple heart attacks and emergency pacemakers. Naomi is currently standing at the terrifying intersection of her own genetic mortality and her father's sudden, inexplicable physical deterioration. It is a crushing amount of pressure for one person to handle. But here's the absolute kicker. She is not handling it alone. Enter Ashley Morgan and Grayson Perez. We have watched Ashley and Grayson navigate their own labyrinth of grief and betrayal, particularly following the tragic, heroic death of Derek Baldwin. But now that their relationship has reached an exclusive, stable understanding, they have shifted their focus outward. They are deeply worried about a struggling friend, and that friend is Naomi. Let's analyze the brilliant logic behind Ashley stepping up as Naomi's emotional. It is not just because they are friends. It is because Ashley is a nurse who has intimately experienced the fragility of life. Ashley understands the clinical, terrifying reality of the BRCA gene. She knows what a double mastectomy entails, the risks of early menopause, and the heavy psychological toll of preventative surgery. But more importantly, Ashley understands grief. She knows what it feels like to almost lose everything. When Ashley looks at Naomi, she doesn't just see a strong lawyer. She sees a terrified daughter and a frightened woman who desperately needs a safe space to fall apart. Ashley, dedicating her time to reassure Naomi and help her navigate this psychological crisis, is one of the most beautiful displays of female friendship we have seen on this show in years. It is a reminder that healing doesn't just happen in operating rooms, it happens in quiet moments of shared vulnerability. But the emotional resonance of this week's episodes does not stop there. Let's break down the incredibly poignant scenes from the Thursday, August 13 episode. Naomi, carrying the weight of her father's near-death experience, returns to the law. Keep in mind the context here. The law firm is currently a battlefield. With Bill out of commission, a bitter power struggle has erupted between Naomi and Tomas Navarro. Tomas is feeling insecure, lashing out, and crossing lines. Naomi is forced to ruthlessly assert her dominance and remind him that her family name is on the door. She has to be the fierce, unyielding corporate shark. Yet, amidst all this corporate warfare and toxic masculinity, Naomi seeks out a moment of pure grace. She goes to Caroline's office. We all know that Caroline is the unsung hero of the week. When Bill collapsed, the direct result of Haley's slow burn poisoning, a chilling fact that the characters are still oblivious to it, was Caroline who found him. It was Caroline who performed CPR. Naomi arrives with a spa gift card and a basket of fruit, a humble offering to the woman who literally kept her father's heart. But what happens next is a masterclass in character writing. Caroline, despite having every right to accept the praise and play the hero, completely downplays her actions. She refuses to take the credit. Instead, she redirects Naomi's gratitude to the true lifesaver, the 911 dispatch operator who stayed on the line, kept her calm, and expertly guided her through the CPR. And who was that calm, steady voice in the dark? Darlene Hawthorne. Yes, Darlene. Naomi's mother-in-law, Jacob's mother, the wife of Police Chief Elon Hawthorne. When you stop and think about the narrative poetry of this revelation, it is absolutely mind-blowing. Darlene is a character who has often been defined by her fierce, sometimes combative protectiveness over her son. We have seen her clash aggressively with Leslie Thomas. We have seen her struggle to accept Eva. She is tough, she is guarded, and she does not suffer fools gladly. But in that dispatch center, she is a guardian angel. When Naomi realizes that the woman who guided Caroline to save her father's life was Darlene, it shifts the entire dynamic of their relationship. Let's unpack the psychology of this moment. Mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationships on soap operas are notoriously fraught with jealousy and petty squabbles. But Beyond the Gates is choosing a different, much smarter route. Naomi realizes the profound coincidence, or perhaps the divine luck, that Darlene was on the other end of that phone line. Naomi seeks out Darlene to express her deepest gratitude. And how does Darlene react? Exactly like Caroline did. With profound, grounded humility, Darlene doesn't view her actions as heroic. She views them as her duty. For Darlene, just like for Caroline, it was never about who Bill was. It wasn't about saving a wealthy, high-powered lawyer or the father of her daughter-in-law. It was simply about saving a human life. They put the sanctity of life above all else. This shared humility creates a powerful, unbreakable bond between Naomi and Darlene. They finally, truly understand each other. Naomi, who has been feeling so isolated in her fears about the BRCA gene and her father's health, suddenly realizes she is surrounded by a network of incredibly strong, capable women. Darlene's quiet strength mirrors the exact kind of resilience Naomi is trying to channel as she faces her own medical journey. It is a subtle but profound passing of the torch. Darlene showed grace under unimaginable pressure, and now Naomi knows she can do the same. Let's point out the brilliant, overarching irony of this entire storyline. We, the audience, know the dark truth. We know that Haley Hamilton is a black. We know she has been slipping poison into Bill's green smoothies, eagerly waiting for him to drop dead so she can collect a $10 million life insurance payout and run off to St. Bart's with Randy Parker. Haley's actions are driven by pure, unadulterated malice and greed. She wants to destroy the Hamilton family for her own gain. But what has her evil plot actually accomplished? A twist of beautiful irony. By pushing Bill to the brink of death, Haley has inadvertently united the women around him. Her attempt to take a life has highlighted the extraordinary lengths to which other women will go to save her. Caroline stepped up. Darlene stepped up. Ashley stepped up to hold Naomi together. Haley's toxic presence has accidentally forged an ironclad alliance among the women of Fairmont Crest. Think about the contrast. While Haley is standing in the hospital hallways, faking tears, complaining about Danny, and secretly fuming that her murder plot was ruined, the other women are showing genuine compassion. Naomi and Darlene's new understanding is a direct counterattack to Haley's toxicity. The Hawthorne and Dupree Hamilton families have had their fair share of friction, but trauma has a way of clarifying what truly matters. Darlene's heroism has cemented her place not just as Jacob's mother, but as a true savior to Naomi's family. And we cannot overlook the vital role Ashley plays in this newly formed sisterhood of survivors. Ashley's decision to dedicate her time to Naomi is a testament to her character growth. She is no longer the woman running from commitment or hiding from her feelings. Surviving the loss of Derek has transformed her into a fiercely protective friend. She recognizes the signs of psychological burnout because she has lived. By stepping in to absorb some of Naomi's panic, Ashley is actively preventing her friend from collapsing under the weight of her dual trauma. This entire narrative arc is a spectacular example of why we watch this. It is not just about the explosive affairs, though. Danny calling Bill her husband in front of everyone was certainly a jaw-dropping moment. It is about the intricate emotional fallout of those explosions. It is about how people rebuild when the storm passes. Naomi is facing the terrifying prospect of a double mastectomy while watching her father fight for his life, but because of Ashley's unwavering emotional support and Darlene's life-saving composure, Naomi is not fighting alone. The writing here is exceptionally smart because it grounds the high-stakes soap opera drama in relatable human emotion. We all know what it feels like to be overwhelmed. We all know the value of a friend who simply sits with us in the dark. And we all understand the profound gratitude of realizing someone you love was saved by the quick thinking of a stranger, or in this case, a mother-in-law. As we look ahead, the tension is only going to escalate. Naomi and Darlene have found common ground, and Ashley has proven herself to be the ultimate best friend. But how long can this fragile peace last? What happens when the truth about Haley's poisoned smoothies finally comes to light? When Naomi discovers that her father's heart attacks weren't a tragic medical anomaly, but an attempted murder orchestrated by the woman sleeping in his bed, the fallout will be catastrophic. Will this newly formed alliance of strong women be enough to take Haley down once? We can only hope that when the truth drops, Naomi, Ashley, and Darlene will be standing shoulder to shoulder, ready for war.